Welcome to Market Mind Lab. Back in 2017, the global luxury brand Burberry hit a massive milestone. They pulled in over $3 billion in revenue. Just an absolute success by any metric. But then, they did something incredibly strange. They deliberately burned perfectly good unsold clothes. So why would a highly successful brand actively destroy its own perfect inventory? It sounds like a complete paradox, doesn't it? Well, you are about to find out. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the hidden science of why we so desperately want what we can have, and how human decisions shape the success and, honestly, sometimes the absolute chaos of markets.
$37 million. Take a second to really think about that number. That is the exact value of the unsold merchandise Burberry just set on fire. And no, this wasn't some warehouse accident. It wasn't a mistake. It was a highly calculated, deliberate business decision. The company's leadership made a strategic choice to protect a psychological illusion. You see, by destroying all those perfectly good products, they ensured the items would never ever be sold at a discount. They effectively prevented their luxury goods from becoming, well, common.
Section 1. Engineering artificial scarcity.
To really understand the psychology here, we kind of have to look at our past. For almost all of human history, scarcity meant a natural disaster. It meant a failed harvest, a dried-up well, a genuine literal threat to survival. But today, scarcity is a weaponized marketing strategy, brilliantly crafted by major brands. Corporate destruction and restricted access, they're strategic decisions designed specifically to bypass your rational brain. They've essentially taken a primal human fear and turned it into a massive profit engine.
So what is artificial scarcity? It's the deliberate restriction of supply when demand is high, all to create an illusion of elite access. Brands like Nike and Burberry, they aren't just selling sneakers or trench coats anymore. They are selling the feeling of being part of an exclusive club. By using quantity limits and strict time limits, they short-circuit our logic. If a product is incredibly hard to get, our brain just immediately jumps to a false conclusion. It assumes the product must be exceptionally good.
Section 2. The psychology of rejection. Picture this. You walk into a Hermes store. You have $15,000 in cash right there in your pocket. You walk up to the associate and politely ask to buy a Birkin bag, and they look right at you and say, "We don't have any." But here's the crazy secret. They aren't actually sold out. They just won't sell one to you. To actually earn the right to buy that bag, you have to build a relationship first. You have to buy their scarves, belts, jewelry, sometimes doing this for months or even years, facing rejection along the way. Hermes isn't just selling leather. They're selling access. They're selling a profound sense of achievement.
And this strategy isn't just for heritage luxury brands either. Look at the streetwear brand Supreme. Every Thursday morning at exactly 11 a.m., they drop a new, highly limited collection. Now, they release a massive variety of products, but strictly restricted quantities of each one. So what does this do? It creates an absolute scarcity frenzy. Fans develop this habitual fear of missing out. It is engineered FOMO in its absolute purest form. If you don't click buy at exactly 11:01 a.m., you might literally never see that jacket again. It turns the simple, everyday act of purchasing into a high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled competition.
And then, of course, we have Rolex and their famous Hulk Submariner waitlist. Rolex produces massive amounts of watches every single year, yet securing one of these specific models means you have to endure a waitlist that can last for a year or more. Rolex doesn't even need to publicly claim their watches are rare. They just sit back and let the market's frenzy and astronomical resale prices do the talking for them. When you finally get that call that your watch is ready, you don't feel like a customer who just spent thousands of dollars. No, you feel like a winner who just beat the system. The hidden psychological bias driving all of this crazy behavior is called reactance theory. When a brand tells you an item is available in a limited quantity, your brain perceives a direct threat to its freedom. You feel like your basic freedom to choose or your freedom to buy is being actively taken away from you. And this triggers a powerful psychological defense mechanism. Suddenly, you desire that item exponentially more than you did just 5 minutes ago. And that reactance, it leads directly into this next concept, tunneling. Tunneling is a hyper-focus on a scarce resource. Your entire field of attention just narrows down completely onto securing that one elusive prize. In this state, you are entirely blinded to rational factors, like the price tag or the actual utility of the item. You forget if you even need the thing. You just know you absolutely have to win it.
Section 3. Primal shopping and hoarding.
Let's go back to 1983.
and the infamous Cabbage Patch Kids riots. Parents literally scratched, choked, and fought each other right there in the store aisles for these soft, sculpted dolls. When resources appear scarce, our human empathy simply vanishes. We enter this primal feeding frenzy. Fast forward to the modern day, and we see the exact same thing in fast fashion stores like Zara, where shoppers engage in in-store hoarding. And today? Well, this behavior has evolved into digital choice architecture manipulation, which we'll dive into in just a second.
But first, let's look at these physical retail behaviors. Think about in-store hoarding. That's grabbing 20 items you don't even really like just to physically prevent anyone else from having them. But there is an even more deviant behavior, in-store hiding. This is where a consumer finds a rare dress, realizes they aren't totally sure if they want it, and actively hides it over in the men's shoe section so no one else can find it. They are literally buying time to make a decision without losing the product. So the really crucial point here is why people hide clothes in the wrong department in the first place. It's driven by something called anticipated regret. We aren't just buying for the joy of owning something anymore, we are buying to avoid the future pain of missing out. This proves a pretty fascinating psychological truth about us. Our brains hate being wrong far more than we hate spending money. We would rather buy something we don't even need than suffer the regret of leaving it behind for someone else.
And this manipulation has completely flooded the digital world. 226%. That is how much a simple, low-stock countdown timer on a website can artificially inflate sales. You know the ones, only 2 seats left at this price? These digital alerts completely hijack our cognitive bandwidth. They force impulsive decisions by creating an artificial deadline. We think we're being smart, savvy shoppers grabbing a deal, but actually, scratch that, we are really just reacting to a clock, not the product itself.
Section 4. Escaping the scarcity trap.
If you take away anything today, remember this fundamental rule. Value is often an illusion created by barriers. Just because an item is hidden behind a wait list, a countdown timer, or some crazy maze of prerequisites does not automatically mean it holds superior quality or actual intrinsic value. In these cases, the barrier itself is the product.
So here is your strategic playbook for defending your own cognitive bandwidth. First, you have to actively recognize when you're experiencing that tunneling effect. If you feel that sudden, high-pressure urge to buy, impose a mandatory 10-minute walkaway rule to kill that artificial pressure. Scarcity is explicitly designed to kill your deliberation. Time brings it back. Second, beware of status manipulation. Remember that luxury brands like Ferrari or Patek Philippe are basically using their customers to project their own exclusivity. When you buy in, you are providing them free advertising as a walking billboard.
I want to leave you with a lingering, provocative thought for the next time you're about to make a big purchase. Really ask yourself, am I buying the product or am I just buying the feeling of being better than my neighbor? Have you ever caught yourself hoarding items, hiding a product in a store, or falling for one of those digital countdown timers? Hey, we've all been there. Share your own stories of scarcity panic down in the comments. Keep examining your decisions and keep learning.